Russell Westbrook said he never felt like he was given a fair chance this season as a Laker. And the media elites and the Twitter tough guys ran with that as a rip of now ex-coach Frank Vogel. I think Russ was rightly destroying LeBron James. And assuming that's the case, and I know that it is, I think Westbrook is right. Look, I cannot remotely defend the results. Lakers, biggest underachiever in NBA history this year, a total embarrassment, a disgrace. And Russ, a future Hall of Famer, did not play well at all. But this was an unmitigated disaster, and I blame LeBron for Russ more than I blame Russ for Russ. The numbers were fine, not vintage triple-double superstar, but they were solid. The feel was poor. The three-point percentage was weak, but you should have known that. Westbrook cannot shoot the three, never has, never will. I mean, slightly below 30, that was expected. I mean, come on. And look, there were other options last offseason. Buddy Hield, DeMar DeRozan, staying the course with Kyle Kuzma. I was more than great with Westbrook because, shame on me, I figured LeBron would have been on board with the ball in Russ's hands. You don't play Westbrook off the ball. You don't do it. You give him the keys to the car. I was wrong. I assumed this would have been discussed with LeBron and Russ and AD. I think Westbrook was sold a bill of goods by James, and the rest is literally the worst kind of history. And it sticks. Westbrook is from LA, went to UCLA. This was a dream turned into a nightmare. And with the conversation pointing yesterday to LeBron coming back, Westbrook at the end of the day, and I love Russ has to go. It's sad, it's wrong. If moved, it's going to be Russ's 15th since 2018. I feel for Russ, but that's the first step, and it's unfair. Westbrook's contract is insane. There is legit doubts that there is a single team in the league at this stage that would trade for Russell Westbrook. Think about that for a second. Maybe it's Houston for John Wall. Maybe a return to OKC if you give him a pick down the road. Maybe Michael Jordan and the Hornets. I mean, MJ has always been a Russ fan, and same with me. But now we're at a sad stage where the Lakers must get rid of Westbrook no matter what. The return doesn't even matter. I blame LeBron for the Russ mess. I blame Pelinka for the rest of the roster around both of them. The floor at the end of the day, even if things bottomed out, which is crazy, should have been the 4 seed. Vogel and Russ are going to be the scapegoats when it's James and Pelinka who have the blood on their hands for the biggest disaster in NBA history. I feel terrible for Russell Westbrook. The play-in in the NBA starts tonight with the Brooklyn Nets hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers, and honestly, there's no excuse for Steve Nash's team. Actually, it's Nash who has a lot to lose tonight and this postseason. The Brooklyn Nets will be judged solely on whether or not they truly compete for a title. This year was a disjointed mess. Kyrie missed home games. James Harden failed. Ben Simmons never showed. Nash struggled, and the defense, yikes, downright deplorable, like hide your eyes kind of dreadful. The historically great Kevin Durant bailed out Brooklyn all year when healthy. Now, the Nets should roll tonight, okay? A lot at stake for Kyrie's reputation going up against his former team, and then at the end of the day, once they win, they're going to play another one of his former teams, Boston, in the next round. Kyrie wanted this. He wanted out of Cleveland. He left Boston. He chose KD, and then spent the last few years prioritizing anything but winning. The Cavs are a young and plucky and talented team. Evan Mobley is a stud. Darius Garland, too. Forget the issues, though, that plagued Brooklyn in the regular season. Forget the availability of Ben Simmons. There's a better chance we see the tooth fairy on the courts. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving need to carry Brooklyn to a lopsided win that hurts Cleveland so badly that tomorrow on Time to Shine, we are irresponsibly talking about the Brooklyn Nets winning a championship. I give Alec Bohm credit. He mouthed it, he said it, he didn't deny it, and as you saw right there from his post-game comments, he really doesn't bleeping hate this place after all. 3 throwing errors. Tied a record at third base. Held since 1974. That'll make you say things. I really believe at the end of the day, he loves Philly. He loves the fans. He loves the energy. He hates the way he played defense, putting his team in a 4-0 hole. Bohm was the reason the Phillies were losing to start a series to a division rival, and the fans let him know. And look, his defense has really, truly been relatively inept for a while now, but he owned it, unlike, I don't know, say Ben Simmons or countless others who have played in Philadelphia. Then he walked in the 8th, and the Phillies rallied and pounded out 5 runs in the frame. My guy JT Realmuto hit a bomb. Philly had great at-bats. Down 4-0, they put up 5 in the 8th. The comeback was thunderous. The win was awesome. Huge statement that the Phillies will make the playoffs and win the division as we predicted. Too early for that statement? Nah, the expectations are high. Philadelphia is a brilliant and passionate sports town. Bohm was booed. He was cussed. At the end of the day, he sparked a rally. The Phillies won. Bohm owned it all. That's how you handle playing in a pressure cooker. I thought the entire thing was great stuff. Epic Champions League results on Paramount Plus and CBS this afternoon. Villarreal took down the mighty Bayern Munich in a shocker. Samuel Chukwueze hammering a cross for the winning goal in the 88th minute to finish off the upset. It's just Villarreal's second ever semifinal appearance. And the other matchup on CBS. Wow. Real Madrid withstood a furious comeback from Chelsea to win 5-4 on aggregate and advance to the semifinals. Who else but my guy, Karim Benzema? His header in the first extra time period was the difference for Madrid. Chelsea looked in control, scoring 3 goals in the first 75 minutes, but couldn't hold on. My goodness. Last year's UCL champs, Chelsea, ouch. Lakers GM Rob Pelinka sees LeBron James in LA long term. All right, so let's talk this one out together on a Talk It Out Tuesday. How much impact should LeBron James have on the Lakers offseason? Well, first and foremost, I would never keep LeBron James. But it was made crystal clear yesterday, LeBron is staying. And Anthony Davis is staying. And they're going to try to win a championship with those pieces next year. I think that is a foolish plan, but that is something that clearly Pelinka laid out. And they're going to have to get rid of Westbrook, as we talked about to start the show. No one in the league is going to want that contract. They're going to have to take a bad contract back or eventually cut him. But they can't be active in terms of bringing in free agents. And look, at the end of the day, LeBron should have 0 impact. And I know that sounds almost naive, right? I mean, 0 impact in any way, shape, or form. You know, you look at LeBron, he didn't hire Frank Vogel. If you remember, he wanted Ty Lue, his old coach in Cleveland, to be the head coach, and the Lakers didn't want to pay him, and Ty Lue goes to the Clippers, and Frank Vogel, who won a championship and did a heck of a job with the Lakers, he became the head coach. So here's LeBron James, and I would give him 0 say. You're not signing free agents who, are repped by clutch management. You're not going to let him bring in guys like Tristan Thompson or Carmelo Anthony or guys that he has relationships with. You need to find shooters, guys who are willing defenders, basketball players. And listen, in terms of picking the coach, go ask Paul Silas or David Blatt or Frank Vogel how it worked out when they were on the bad side of LeBron James. I wouldn't let LeBron James do anything in terms of picking the players, pick the coaches. That ship has sailed. Give LeBron credit for winning the championship. He deserves it. But he's been a Laker, been in LA for 4 years. The team has missed the playoffs two of those 4 years. LeBron James shouldn't even be a Laker next year. I know that's going to happen, but he gets no say in this operation. None. Staying in the NBA, Philadelphia's Matisse Thybulle is ineligible to play in the 76ers' upcoming playoff games in Toronto against the Raptors because he isn't fully vaccinated. So, how will his availability impact the upcoming series? Let's talk this one out. First of all, it's going to impact it majorly. And the fact that Thybulle got the first shot for the COVID-19 vaccine and then decided not to get the second one, I mean, that's as foolish and questionable as it gets. Matisse Thybulle is, in my opinion, this year, one of the 15 best defensive players in the NBA. 15 is not an arbitrary number. We're talking about second or third team NBA. And Toronto, scrappy team, great team, owns Philadelphia this year. You know, obviously you start thinking about Nicky Nurse, who's a hell of a coach, and Spicy P's taking his game to a different level, and Van Vliet is back, and Scotty Barnes has been fantastic. And by the way, this is a story. We're not talking about how many points Joel Embiid is going to score against Toronto. We're not talking about James Harden. We're talking about Thybulle, which means the press is going to be asking Harden and Doc Rivers and Embiid about it. So this is going to be an omnipresent storyline. The Philadelphia 76ers, when they made that trade for James Harden, that should have been a move to win the Eastern Conference. Instead, you saw Doc Rivers fail down the stretch, and he always fails in a big spot. James Harden failed down the stretch. He always fails in a big spot. And now you have a key signature player. Remember, I stressed during the Harden rumors on Time to Shine, do not give up Thybulle in the deal. Too good, too solid of a role player, too valuable. And now he can't play in Toronto because he didn't get the vaccine. Yeah, this is one of those in a pretty even matchup where it favors Toronto. And I think as a result, in terms of availability and distraction, the Raptors are going to be able to beat the Philadelphia 76ers. To the NFL, where new Texans head coach Lovie Smith said he is a believer in quarterback Davis Mills. So, is Mills the quarterback of the future for Houston? Let's talk this out. Well, yeah. And I was dead wrong on Davis Mills. I would not have made that pick last year if I was Nick Caserio. Davis Mills had a superb rookie season. I mean, look at the rankings. And remember, we're talking about a draft class where Trevor Lawrence was the number 1 overall pick, and then Zach Wilson, and then Trey Lance, and you had Mac Jones, and you had Justin Fields, and Davis Mills arguably outplayed them all. Now, it's not going to be better big picture than Trevor Lawrence, and I still love Justin Fields and still love, obviously, someone like Trey Lance and his talent, and Mac Jones played well and he can grow in New England. But look, they bring back Brandon Cooks. I don't like that for Cooks. I wish he was on a team like Green Bay. But Davis Mills and Brandon Cooks, they have a tremendous rapport. And I think that Davis Mills, who had an excellent rookie season, not only Lovie Smith is the head coach, but I think that you're going to have Pep Hamilton calling the plays. He's a brilliant offensive mind. There's another level for Davis Mills. I'm excited to see him in year number 2. Good, we talked that out on a Tuesday.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.